I told you the Bible was never just talking about history? What if it was also describing something happening inside you right now? Because when you slow it down and actually read it carefully, the Bible keeps repeating a pattern: a body, a head, and 12 parts working together as one system. And that raises a strange question. What if the 12 disciples are not just people who walked with Christ, but a symbolic map of how consciousness organizes itself in the human being? The Bible doesn't describe humans randomly. It describes them as a system. For as the body is one and hath many members. This is 1 Corinthians chapter 12, verse 12. One body, many functions, not separate, not disconnected, but unified. This idea shows up again and again, that reality is not chaos, it's structure. Now listen closely to how the Bible describes the head. He is the head of the body. This is Colossians chapter 1, verse 18. The head is not just symbolic language here. It represents authority, direction, and coordination. In the physical sense, your head is where perception happens, where decisions form, signals are processed, and identity is experienced. So when the scripture uses head, it's pointing to the central organizing principle of the system. Let's start with this idea: heaven. In scripture, heaven is always described as above. And he shall show you a large upper room furnished. There make ready. This is Gospel of Luke, chapter 22, verse 12. But what if above doesn't mean somewhere in the sky? What if it means something else? What if it means higher consciousness? Not a place you go, but a state you reach. You hear about the 12 disciples. What if 12 is not just a number of people, but a symbolic structure of completeness? Because in biblical language, 12 often represents totality, governance, divine order, structured wholesome. So instead of reading it literally, you can read it as a pattern language. In the Bible, the head is referred to as the upper room. This is where Jesus met the 12 disciples. These 12 disciples are said to be the 12 cranial nerves in the brain. Think of it like the pathways of perception. This is a map of divine communication in the human system, fitly joined together and compacted. This is Ephesians chapter 4, verse 16. That phrase means everything is interconnected. Nothing operates in isolation, and every part affects the whole. This is not random language. It's describing a living system of coordination. The Bible is speaking in patterns. Now let's get deeper. We have the left brain and the right brain. The right brain is the feminine energy. This is where you find your intuition, your creativity, imagination, insight, music awareness. This is because the right brain is connected directly to the cerebrum. This is where you find 90% of united consciousness. Now, the left brain is the masculine energy. Here, we connect with our 5 senses: materialism, logical thinking, analytical thoughts, language, reasoning, and number skills. Now, if we follow that symbolic thread, the body becomes a representation of human experience. The head is your higher awareness. And the 12 nerves becomes a structured system of functions inside consciousness. Not random, not separate, but working together as one integrated field. So in this view, the head organizes awareness. The body equals expression of life. And the 12 equals the 12 structured channels of function. These are your cranial nerves. When Moses crosses the Red Sea, most people see a miracle. But symbolically, it's moving from the left hemisphere of the brain to the right. The Red Sea is actually the corpus callosum. This is actually representing the moving from one state of awareness to another. This right here explains crossing from confusion to clarity. Then there's the idea of the single eye. If your eye be single, your whole body will be full of light. That's not about vision. That's about perception. It's about seeing beyond the physical into truth. Now, this doesn't mean everything is literal anatomy, but it does mean there are layers to these teachings. You can read it as history, or you can read it as a manual for consciousness. Because the Bible isn't just telling you what happened, it's telling you what's happening within you. It is using physical language to describe spiritual structure. And that opens the door for interpretation. Because ancient texts often describe consciousness using body metaphors, architectural metaphors, and numerical patterns. So the deeper question becomes, are they pointing to a hidden internal map of human awareness? So instead of asking, is this literally about disciples and biology? The better question is, what system is this trying to describe about human consciousness itself? Because if the body is a system, and the head is a center, and 12 represents structure, maybe it's describing a model of inner order that we are meant to understand. And if that's true, then the Bible is not just something you read. It's something you decode. Not just history, but a mirror pointing at you.